There are the algebraic properties of equality. There we go. Okay. So that is on page 105, in case you can't remember the name of it or whatever. I'm not going to be super picky that you name it properly, but might be some mention of it. Okay? All right. Using your 3.2 Explorer from yesterday, we don't even need to really do that. We could. The key word from yesterday's Explorer, the key thing that was different than what we did here, are these parallel lines? No. So we can't say that 5 and 7 are congruent, can we? If you look at them, they're obviously not congruent. However, when you have two parallel lines cut by a transversal, that's when congruency starts to happen in these special angle types, okay? So the pairs of corresponding angles are what? Congruent. And you can just use the congruent symbol. If two parallel lines are cut by transversal, then the pairs of alternate interior angles are what? Congruent. And alternate exterior angles are congruent. And the consecutive interior angles are congruent. Okay? So that's what I was hoping you would come away with from yesterday. Is noticing that when the lines are parallel, those special angles become congruent. All right, let's feel this out. If the measure of angle 1 is 105 degrees, I'm going to write that right down. Find the measure of the rest of the angles, and what does that say? Explain, okay? So, what do you notice right here in this diagram? Those little arrows tell me what? No, parallel. So before you jump into anything, make sure you look for those parallel lines because the book might be sneaky and try and trick you. Okay? If those parallel lines aren't there, then those special angles are not congruent. All right. So if angle 1 is 105, what must angle 2 be? 75 degrees. And how do you know that? They're supplementary, or what's another word that we might call them if they share a ray? Linear pairs. Okay? With angle 1, I'm going to write. Linear pairs with angle 1. So we've proven that angle 2 has to be 75 degrees because of that. Okay? So angle 3 right here would be what? 75 degrees also. And how do you know that? Oh, because of vertical angles and because 1 and 3 are what also? Linear pairs. Okay, so I'm going to with angle 1 and vertical with angle 2. Just covering all your bases there. Okay? So, measure of angle 4 right here. What do you think that is? It's 105 degrees. How do you know that? I would probably say vertical with angle 1. You could also say linear pairs with 2 and 3. But we'll just do the vertical because it's always going back to what they gave us. This is called our given here. When you start writing proofs, that's your given. Okay? All right, the measure of angle 5, which is over here. So how big is that? How do you know that? Yes, a corresponding angle with angle 1. Again, I'm always going back to that given one if I can. That's the safest bet. All right? Angle 6. So what's angle 6? 75. Now, I can't really relate that to angle 1, but I can relate it to what we've already proved here. So I would say that it's a couple of things. You could say it's corresponding with angle 2. Or you could say it's a linear pair with what? Because we just proved angle 5 here. Okay? So it's just being safe and writing everything that you possibly can because you never know what you're going to need to use. All right, the measure of angle 7. How big is angle 7?
75.
And how do you know that? It's vertical with angle what?
6.
And we can also, no, we can't relate it to angle 1, but we could say We could go relate it to angle 2. How could we relate it to angle 2? Yeah, alternate interior angles. We could use that this time. Let's do that. Alternate interior angle with angle 2. And it's also obviously a linear pair with angle 5. You could say that as well. So I really need you to start looking at all these things that you're learning in order to prove stuff later. All right, and then the last one is angle 8. How big is angle 8?
105.
And what can we say as our reasons?
Alternate exterior.
Alternate exterior, that's the strongest reason. Alternate exterior with angle 1. And there's all sorts of other things. We could say vertical with what angle? Angle 5. We could say linear pair. I'm just listing a bunch of stuff here. With angle 6 and angle 7. Okay? So just covering all my bases. All right, turn the page. All right, explain your steps and how you, what allows you to use those steps, okay? So, take a look at this picture. First of all, what do you notice? They're parallel. Therefore, what can we say about these two angles? They're equal, right, or congruent. So I'm going to set them equal to each other. 135. This is supposed to be a minus sign in there. Kind of didn't print properly. Okay? So is equal to x minus 30. Now, I want you to tell me how come you can say that. So in words, I might say they're parallel lines cut by a transversal. Oh, it's not going to fit, sorry. Cut by a transversal. Therefore, I know that the corresponding angles are congruent or equal. That is the reason that I can set those equal to each other. So now, what do I do to solve for x? Add 30. Oh, what property are we using here? Addition equality. Just think about adding the equal amount to both sides. Addition equality property. Okay, so this goes away, and x equals what? 165. And that's all I was asked to do, so I'm done. There was just two things that we listed there for our reasoning. Cool? Well, you guys are going to have so much time. Are you ready? I'm going to give you the homework right now. Page 158, problem numbers 27 through 35. How many is that? And 38. That's it.
Wait, you got the worksheets that's on.
That's it.
Very generous.